Ladies and gentlemen, this coronavirus is just spreading more and more every single day. Europe is now struggling with their battles with the virus. And I was looking at Iran. I think 8 people have died, and they're closing off the borders around Iran. People are scared. They are scared. So this came out in the New York Times. Europe confronts coronavirus as Italy battles an eruption of cases. So, like I said, there is no stopping this thing right now. And just looking at China and looking how they are struggling with this thing, they have no clue to how to even approach the virus, to even treat it. They have you can just tell they are winging it every single day. That's all they're doing. All right, y'all. So this is February 23rd, 2020. Italy, Europe confronted its first major outbreak of the coronavirus as an eruption of more than 150 cases in Italy prompted officials on Sunday to lock down at least 10 towns, close schools in major cities, and cancel sporting events and cultural touchstones, including the end of the Venice Carnival. Do you know, I was in Venice. I got pictures of myself in Venice. I was in Venice back in the 80s, ladies and gentlemen. And people live very close. I mean, the streets are narrow, the ones that you can walk down, and then some of the streets are water. But those buildings are practically on top of each other when you go in there. So it's like one of those places, you can walk through, but you can't even some of the streets are so narrow, you can't get a car down there. You can't. So back to this, the worrisome spike from fewer than 5 known cases in Italy before Thursday shattered the sense of safety and distance that much of the continent felt. So, I guess they were hearing about all the stuff going on in China. The problem is people travel worldwide. And if people are traveling worldwide, there's no way you're not going to get this in your country. There's no way you won't. So, I read 2,500 people as of yesterday had died. This article is saying 24, but we are talking about mainstream news and all of their inconsistencies on everything. The perception of a rising threat was amplified on television channels, newspaper headlines, and social media feeds across Europe, where leaders could face their greatest challenge since the 2015 migration crisis. That's when people from all over the Middle East and Africa were migrating into Italy. And you know what they said? You colonialized their country, so now they're coming to colonialize you. The surge of people into Europe radically altered the politics of the European Union and exposed the institutional weaknesses. This time, it is a visible virus from abroad that has slipped past Europe's borders and presented its bickering coalitions with a new potential emergency. Now, it's not like you can eyeball people coming in with that virus. And number two, even the test for it is not foolproof. I even read articles where China was using kits to test people, and the kits even failed. So it's not foolproof. So, yes, if people are slipping into Europe undetected, you can best believe they're slipping into America undetected. You can best believe they are. If the virus spreads, the fundamental principle of open borders within much of Europe, so central to the identity of the block will undergo a stress test, as will the vaulted but strained European public health systems, especially in countries that have undergone austerity measures. Already a new nervousness has pervaded Europe. Ladies and gentlemen, these people have already been suffering from low birth rate. If this thing wipes out a lot of people in Europe, it will damn near be gone. And I'm not kidding you. Italy is one of those places that have done very poorly with birth rate. So this coming, if it wipes out a lot of people, Italy will never, ever, ever be the same. In Italy's Lombardy region, 10 towns were locked down after a cluster of cases suddenly emerged. In Codogno, southeast of Milan, residents were supposed to leave or enter towns only with special permission, affecting at least 50,000 people. And by Sunday night, police officers in surgical masks were waving down cars. Austrian officials stopped a train en route from Italy to Austria and Germany to test passengers for the virus. The Austrian Interior Minister Karl Nehammer said the test came back negative, so the train got the all clear. France. Woo. France, right? The new health minister, Oliver Verran, stressed the country's preparedness, saying it would significantly ramp up its testing. That's not going to do anything for the virus. And like I said, y'all, the testing is not foolproof. People are going to slip into your country with this thing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there is a problematic situation at the door in Italy that we are watching with great attention, he said on Sunday, adding that a Europe-wide discussion between health ministers was in the works. Wow. I'm just looking at the countries that are hit. Y'all, this is, like I said, this is going to devastate Europe. You got towns with no children, okay, in this place. And Europe also have a big elderly population. And a lot of times those elderly people have weakened immune systems. So this being over in Europe, oh, this is going to be huge. On Sunday night, an aid ship bringing hundreds of migrants who had been rescued off the coast of Libya to a Sicilian port received instructions from the Italian government to remain in quarantine for 14 days as a precaution, according to the ship's Twitter account. Shoot, those people are more than likely to get coronavirus directly from the Italian people at this point. Fears of foreigners spreading the virus across oceans has already prompted some governments around the world to impose new border or travel controls. The Trump administration has barred entry to the United States by most foreign nationals who have recently visited China, where the virus first appeared and spread. Much of the world has adopted similar controls, but the virus has continued to spread, most notably to South Korea. Yes, South Korea is really getting slammed. I did see that yesterday, where most cases have been recorded, than anywhere else outside China. And this past week to Iran, where 8 deaths have been reported. And I did see that. And people are closing off borders to Iran because of those 8 deaths all around them. Israel on Monday will block entry to all non-residents who have visited Japan and South Korea in the 14 days before their arrival. On Sunday, President Moon Jae-in of South Korea, which has 763 confirmed infections and 6 deaths, put the country on the highest possible alert, empowering the government to ban visitors from China and to take other sweeping measures to contain the outbreak. So they're showing you, just Wuhan, where it all started on the map there. But, you look at China, who was trying to build themselves up to be a superpower on Earth. And if you see how they're struggling with this thing, which they are, they tried to disinfect the country and ended up wiping out the wildlife. So they are struggling badly. I can imagine what these European countries are going to do. So Italy, 150 cases. It's probably already past that at this point, because it don't take long for this thing to spread. And y'all know this by now. But ladies and gentlemen, see, this is where I was in Venice. This is the square. And these are all mansions. Not mansions, I'm sorry, palaces. This palace right here was built in the 11th century. And I believe this one was like around the 13th century. I've been inside of these palaces, y'all. And this is the tower. I've been inside of the tower. You can go in there and you can look down and see all of Venice up in this tower right here. When I was there, they had a bunch of pigeons in the square, and one of the pigeons actually landed on my head. It was actually kind of funny, but y'all, wow. And the sad part is wearing that mask is not going to help you. I was even reading some of a Chinese doctor said, really wearing that mask is counterproductive. You have to also cover your eyes. So if you're not doing both of those things out in public, and I don't see how you're going to contain it when people are touching everything. As well as I do, when you go in the supermarket, people are touching things. Some people will take something off the shelf, look at it and put it back. So, and then other people are coming up, picking up that same product. You know how it is there. So how do you contain this? You really can't. You can't. And I did a live stream yesterday showing how they're admitting even if you are recovered from this thing, you are still contagious and still spreading it. So China is even asking, what do you do with these patients now that they're recovered, but they're still contagious? The only thing you can do is keep them isolated. You don't have any vaccine that's going to get rid of this. So you're going to have to keep those folks isolated. But y'all, please tell me what you think of this New York Times article on how Europe is now, parts of Europe is getting slammed with the coronavirus. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace, family.